Okay, last we had a crash and we still want to get to work. So we're looking at our additive layer here that's duplicated. We have it 2. I think that's a little too far. Let's work with 1. So we're going to come here and set the weight down to 1. Whoops, almost there. Let me just change everything around. There we go. 1, there. And now that's more like the original animation. Let's root back more though. All right, here we are. So just for an update, I have abandoned the one where we got it from game and then did the layer, the additive layer on top of that. So we're working on our original animation, but updating it to get the arms to be more like what we think we want. But this is a continued process to go back and forth and back and forth. So we're just animating those arms where we want them to be. And testing. So keep having multiple crashes, which is interesting how often it's crashing. It's making this more exciting, that's for sure. Okay, exporting and testing. I'm going to save. Guess we are crashing a lot. Let's make sure to save as much as possible. That's much better. Those arm locations. Okay, now we're gonna get our ABP. Look at it here from the front view. That is much better. We get kind of wild. With our arms, I think that's okay. What is our head doing? I want our head to come back down a little bit more. We're close. So close. My fingers are still crossed. I've crossed every toe. Set of toes now. It's like you can taste that it's almost there, which is cool. But you know that you've put a lot of effort into getting it as far as you've gotten it. So let's have this come back down more. We don't need that shooting up so quickly. Okay, saving, testing, baking, shaking, and go. I think I like it. Testing here. That feels pretty good. So learned a lot in this process, creating an additive just as an additive, not testing it until we look at it in the game, recording the animation, what's actually happening in game, breaking that down to a control rig, and then making an animation on top of that, using a rig pose to help us there so that we understand what we're looking at from an animation perspective, what it would look like most like in game, and then using the rig pose to ensure that we're only changing what we want to change from rig pose to additive changes. So that delta, that change, that difference is what we're actually getting. And then sometimes that can be hard to see on an animation itself. And then going back to our original animation, using our understandings from the recorded animation and then the layer that we put on top of that, and using that as a guide to help us modify this a little bit more. So we get something that's kind of childlike, innocent, but actually still got a sword on her back. So I want to say a big thank you if you stuck through with me throughout this entire journey. These last few videos have been, I'll just say, challenging. And sometimes that's the way it goes when we're working, and we'll get a lot of setbacks, and we just have to troubleshoot them. Sometimes you'll be the only animator on a team with no technical animator, and you'll have to work through those issues. So I'm going to keep posting the issues I've had and the challenges I've had across this process, and hopefully you all can learn from that. We can all learn from each other. We can grow to better understand how to manipulate an animation in Engine via a control rig or a take editor or just a recording, and putting a layer on top of that and seeing where we go with it. So thank you very much for sticking with it, and happy animating out there. Enjoy your journey. Good luck.